focus on vaccines, and some political parties want a greater variety of COVID-19 vaccines. They're also calling for less reliance on Western-made vaccines such as Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson. You'll know over 5.5 million South Africans are now fully vaccinated. I'm one of them, and so is our reporter Heidi Giokos, who joins me in studio now. Congratulations, Heidi. You got the second jab today. So we've got, what, about 2 weeks before we're both fully vaccinated. But of course, the reality is there are many South Africans who are still somewhat hesitant. You were at a vaccination drive-through site today. Tell me what you found.
Yes, certainly. We're seeing a lot of hesitancy, and this is also according to the Tshwane Mayor, Randall Williams, who's saying that a large number of the vaccination sites are empty. And this is a huge concern given the fact that there are targets that have been set. We do know that the Department of Health is expecting over 30 million to have at least received one COVID-19 jab by December. So far, we've only vaccinated or administered over 12 million vaccines, over 5 million fully vaccinated. So the issue still is around hesitancy, and many people still uncertain. The other big issue is the fact that many people opt to have either Johnson & Johnson or Pfizer, and it's all dependent on what is available at that particular vaccination site. There's also a call for more vaccines to be approved and made available, such as Sputnik or any other COVID-19 vaccine that is currently being administered globally. So there are a number of issues on the table, but what we are seeing is still a large number of people coming through to get their vaccine. I got my second jab today. So hopefully we'll be seeing more and more people going through, because at the end of the day, government is trying to reach that herd immunity.
Yeah, let's take a listen to the Tshwane Mayor.
And what the data is showing, we're still falling short of our targets. Like Gauteng, for example, we need to vaccinate 100,000 people a day in order for us to reach that 80% threshold by February. We're still falling short of that. Yesterday, for example, we've managed to reach 77,000, which was a good day, but we're nowhere close to where we need to be. So I think we need to, from government as a whole, not only local government, provincial, national, we need to become more effective in our communication and really encourage and incentivize. And I would prefer incentivizing people to come out and be vaccinated. For example, I mean, in the future, if we open up sports events, we should only allow people who have been vaccinated to attend those sports events. And I would even go as far as to say, if people want to buy alcohol, they must come show their vaccination certificate. Otherwise, they must just stay without alcohol. So we need to become very, very stern in our message.
Yeah, it's a very interesting position, and I think that what we know from the health department is that they're all for incentivizing, but also it's really important not to shame people who are hesitant, but rather to say, let's try and explain why these vaccines are safe and really why it's our only chance at this point to get out of this pandemic. But interesting views there indeed. Also today, the SA Health Products Regulatory Authority in Parliament today, just updating latest research on vaccines and their efficacy. What can you tell us about that, Heidi?
Yes, certainly. So as I mentioned earlier, there are calls, of course, to have more vaccines approved by the medicine regulator in the country, and of course SAPRA needing to update Parliament and the nation with regards to how far this process is. What we do understand is that there have been a few glitches in the system, because these vaccines are not administered in South Africa, so there are language barriers, and needing to understand what exactly is in the vaccine, needing to understand its safety and efficacy in the country. But what's interesting here is the medicine regulator making it very clear that deaths that many people are attributing to the fact that as soon as they got the COVID-19 vaccine, a death occurred. The medicine regulator saying that there have been no reports that directly link a death to after receiving a COVID-19 vaccine. They've also made it very clear that the side effects that have been reported in other countries because of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and Pfizer have not been recorded in South Africa, and the vaccines are extremely safe when it comes to the protection of severe illness against against COVID-19 as well as hospitalization and death. So that's some positive news, but of course the medicine regulators under pressure, and they're making it very clear that they will not fall to any kind of pressure to approve a vaccine in any rush, because they need to make sure it's safe and effective for South Africans.
Yeah, and it's really important. They are being very transparent. I spoke to one of the committee members last week. They were looking at 53 deaths. They'd ruled out over 28 of them as being linked, and now obviously this must be an update, but they perform post-mortems, if the family approves, on everyone who they suspect might possibly have a death caused by the vaccine. And as you say, so to date there has been no link cause, which is a very scientific thing, and it's a very clear link that can be established through a post-mortem. So yet more encouraging signs that it's safe to do this, and it's our only way through the pandemic.
Yes, and I just want to add one more thing, Sally. The medicine regulator has emphasized the fact that if families have experienced a death soon after that individual has received a COVID-19 vaccine, they need to report that so that they can further investigate and study, because it doesn't help for people to run to social media and say that as soon as the person received the vaccine, they felt really ill, or there was a death in the family. They need to understand the cause, comorbidities, age factor, risk factor, vulnerability factor. So all of that plays a huge role.
That's right. All that information is absolutely crucial. Thank you so much for that update, Heidi Giokos. Still to come.